Hello everyone, I say to welcome you all to the Executive Corner Expert Talks 20 Minutes Roundup with Mr. Adrian Griffin, the Managing Director from Lithium Australia. We bring you industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock markets and help you understand how you can create multiple passive income streams. So in today's show, we are very lucky to have the Managing Director of Lithium Australia, Mr. Adrian Griffin. Welcome, Adrian. It's a pleasure meeting you.
And you too, Sage.
So let's begin with the questions. The electric vehicle space is gaining a lot of traction from policymakers and customers alike. How is your subsidiary, VSPC, positioned to meet the battery industry needs?
Well, not surprisingly, it's part of the entire game plan of the company, and that is to produce the shortest route from mine gate to motor vehicle and then back again through recycling. So if you look at those components of the industry, VSPC is focused on producing the active components of the batteries. And when I say active components, I mean in this case, the cathode powders, which are one of the things that drives the battery and provides the energy storage that you've got in that battery. Our specialisation is lithium ferrophosphate, LFP, which we believe is becoming the dominant battery chemistry in lithium-ion batteries.
And the next question, congratulations, by the way, on completing the pre-feasibility study into the proposed production of lithium ferrophosphate cathode powder. Please shed some light on the PFS outcomes.
Yeah, certainly, Sage. In economic terms, pretty simple. The project has a net present value of about $250 million. It's got a construction cost a bit over 100, internal rate of return of about 33%, and it'll generate a free cash flow somewhere north of $60 million per annum.
Thank you for that. And the third question, the PFS is based on proprietary VSPC process technology. How will this technology help in capitalising on the expanding LFP market?
Well, I guess quite simply, it's capable of producing the world's best LFP cathode powders and at a very competitive cost. And we've not only been researching that in our R&D facility in Queensland, but we've also been manufacturing those cathode powders in our pilot plant, exporting those to China and Japan, where they're put into commercial format batteries and tested against everything else that's on the market. And I'm pleased to say that we can actually produce the best battery that's available.
And question 4. China produces most of the LFP cathode powder globally. Amid positive outlook of the LFP market, what are the opportunities for LIT as an LFP producer?
The opportunities are a very good one, of course. And we see the EV industry transitioning from nickel-based cathode materials, which quite frankly have a few safety issues, to a much safer, much more reliable product being LFP. But at the moment, only 2% of that or less is produced outside China. Now we see Tesla from the United States manufacturing in China, using LFP batteries, I might add. They don't use LFP in their factory in the United States. They use NCM, but they've taken a cheaper route and a safer route with their Chinese production. They're exporting those cars into Europe and North America. They're followed by the likes of BYD, which is the second largest EV producer in the world, China's based. They're going head to head with Tesla in the European market. And VW have said they're going to start their entry-level vehicles in Europe with LFP. So there's a growing market, but there's a real supply chain problem, and that is all of that LFP powder, bar 2%, is being produced in China. The industry is going to have to change. Now, as it changes, it's going to streamline the supply routes, the logistics. That's going to reduce the amount of atmospheric emissions because there won't be as much transportation involved, and it's going to produce a better product for the consumer. So our challenge is to get established in that market and provide an alternate supply chain to the Chinese supply chain.
Question 5. With electric vehicle manufacturers incorporating LFP lithium-ion batteries into their entry-level vehicles, where does the company see itself in the booming EV market?
Let's focus primarily on our subsidiary VSPC that makes the cathode powders. We're certainly working on the next generation of cathode powders now. I mentioned some of the attributes of LFP, and that is it's much safer, it's cheaper, it lasts a lot longer too. So it lasts about 3 times the length of the nickel-based cathode powders. Yeah, remarkable stuff. You'd say this is the perfect cathode powder, but it has one shortfall, and that is its energy density is lower. We've been researching ways of improving that energy density and making that comparable with NCM, nickel cobalt manganese cathode powders, which are the biggest competitors. So we're working on the next generation of LFP battery. We have a government grant, incidentally, to produce batteries primarily for public transportation use, with a focus on trams, and I know you just love trams. So we're doing all of that, but with respect to advancing the commercialisation of the cathode powders, we'll be looking at complete life cycle analysis of those cathode powders and the batteries, and in doing so, the way those batteries go back into the recycling supply chain. And of course, we have a subsidiary, EnviroStream Australia, which is the only recycler of lithium-ion batteries in Australia at the moment. And we have been successful in recycling those batteries and effectively regenerating them, so we know we can do that. So we'll be looking at that life cycle analysis, which is not only mining the material, making the battery, but what you do after that battery has gone past its use-by date. We'll be completing a definitive feasibility study, so that's on the back, of course, of the very successful PFS.
And that was a fabulous show. It was lovely chatting to you, Adrian. We thank you for your time. And with that, 𝐲𝐳 will sign off for today. Watch this space for more. Until then, stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.